And that about covers the main gist of our investigation. I see. Very interesting. You've been quite the busy beaver today. Thank you for all your hard work, Athena. Well, my time's about up, and it will be getting dark soon, so... Junie! You must be tired after being on your feet all day. You should go home and... No, wait! You have to listen to me! I don't want to hear anymore. I know what you're going to say, Athena. Junie, you promised. We're going to discover the truth behind this murder mystery, and we're going to bring you solid evidence showing just what that truth is. If we succeed in doing that, I want you to promise that you'll accept it, Junie, no matter how hard it is to hear. Okay, but only if it's the real truth. So please, please just listen to what I have to say. Once you've heard me out, I'll let you decide what to do. Take that. Oh, that. It's my voice, isn't it? Apparently, it's a recording of you reading your script during the mock trial. But earlier, when you said it was Professor Court's voice, that was quite shocking. I never would have imagined it was the professor yelling at Hugh. Oh, that was just, you know... That was such an inspired leap of logic. You really are something special, Athena. Yeah, it takes a special kind of person to make a claim like that with a straight face. It doesn't take my sensitive hearing to... It doesn't take my sensitive hearing to detect dripping sarcasm, genius. Alright, so maybe it's just talk. Suspicions. The voice in this recording has been proven to be yours, Junie. And in the mock trial video, we can hear you reading your line from the script. We're having both of them analyzed now, but from what I can tell, the voices are the same. And the only one who'd benefit from faking the voice recording would be Hugh. But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, Hugh confessed in order to protect me. This may sound strange, but his confession is a ploy to make himself look less suspicious. In other words, he was just pretending to protect you. Besides, his confession came after you and Robin had already confessed. If he hadn't confessed right then as well as aimed a bow and arrow at my head, wouldn't that have seemed a little suspicious? On a related note, Twitch actually rejected the title that I tried to have for the stream today. It was going to be, "How dare you accuse me of bow murder? I'll murder you with my bow." But apparently it says, it was like, oh, this title may be in violation of Twitch's guidelines, probably for having the phrase "I'll murder you" in it, which, I don't know, it's too violent. Say what you will, Athena, but none of us would hurt a fly, let alone kill someone. Hugh is a gifted student. He gets outstanding grades and never causes trouble. Wait, Athena, my bracelet reacted just now. It did, but why? Junie, can you look me in the eye and repeat what you just said? Can you look me in the eye and repeat what you just said several times very slowly while we stare at you and touch our bracelet? You really need superpowers to tell she's lying here. Now I'm sure of it. She's lying. Do 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 do. It's gonna be the flower. The flower's gonna grow a face. It's actually Flowey. Not a whole lot of places it could be. Face, head, flower, hand. Can't see her other hand. Oh, wait. Wait, her cravat? Is that what that's called? No, that's the frilly thing. This is just a neck thing. Is it like her heartbeat is moving the scarf?
Gotcha!
Those weren't coughs. Juniper, you start coughing when you're under stress. You can't hide it from... Wait, she coughs all the time. You can't hide it from me no matter how hard you try. When you said, and never causes trouble, a cough escaped and made your scarf flutter. As for why you were stressed, it's because you were lying. Quite a jump. Junie, you're trying to hide Hugh's connection to this case, aren't you? And I believe that also ties into a secret about yourself. A secret? About me? I don't understand. I already told Juniper, so I might as well tell you. I don't really care about her anymore. What? Why? Juniper's not all sunshine and rainbows like you think she is. He ended their friendship after he found out about Junie's secret, which means Hugh must have felt betrayed by Junie, making her... Well, she's not the killer. I don't think she's an accomplice. Is she the snitch? You were Professor Court's snitch, weren't you? We'll take a look. Why are you eating ice cream? I always eat ice cream when I'm having a bad day. But you eat ice cream every day. I like it. There's a rumor going around that when it's... We don't need a flashback to this. Don't be silly. We just came from here. And while fulfilling that role, you learned something about Hugh you'd rather forget. He's actually a girl. I don't know what you're talking about. Junie, please, stop hiding things from me. I hate having to force things out of you like this, with psychology and magic bracelets. Looks like we're going to have to do this the hard way. I thought we already were doing it the hard way. Is using a magic bracelet to detect coughs not the hard way? I must have something that proves Junie's the snitch. What, this? Where did we find this? Oh, it was just on the stage. Burnt fragments. Routine report. Could that be it? Well, this doesn't prove that Junie's the snitch. Why does it say Hue 120 on it? I actually really don't know this. Let's try this.
Take that!
Right here in Professor Court's planner, it says routine report. Okay. I believe this is meant... I believe this is meant to mean when the snitch would report into Professor Court. That is quite a jump. This is not evidence. I also believe Professor Court planned to meet Hugh in private based on the snitch's info. Also not evidence. And from their meeting, Hugh must have put 2 and 2 together and figured out your secret. So you see, it all makes sense only if you or anyone else is the snitch. None of that links Junie to this. None of it. This could have been any snitch in the world. This could have been me. It could have been Serp. Serp. This whole time, you were the snitch? I should have known. Just look at this evidence. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me, Thena. I've been lying to you this whole time. The truth is, I suspected Hugh from the start. You did? Now this is surprising. I'm so sorry. I've talked about friendship so much, but I've been a terrible friend. Juniper, I don't have that special kind of hearing that Athena does. But I don't need it to sense the pain you're feeling inside. And its intensity is directly proportional to how you feel about your friend. Am I right? Apollo. Please, Junie, tell me why you suspected Hugh. I have a feeling that will be the key to getting to the bottom of this whole case. What exactly was your role as a class snitch? Professor Court had told me how Academy alumni had strayed from the path of justice. The dark age of the law. Oh, the dark age of the law, huh? She didn't want any more of our students going astray like that, but few others at the Academy shared her view. I thought her ideals were beautiful, though sad and unrealistic. She asked you to be her eyes and ears, didn't she? I used to report to her once a month about any wrongdoings I'd seen or heard about. And that report session in her planner, the one from October 22nd, was a part of that? Yes, that's when I reported Hugh to Professor Court. She snitched on her own friend. I had accidentally overheard Hugh talking. What did you hear? He was talking to someone on the phone. I think it was one of his parents. What were they talking about? Something about having paid money for good test scores. I only overheard him talking, so I never did find out who the money was going to. What? That's bribery! Hugh was buying his way through school, and if that's the case, then that evidence that always seemed out of place might actually... The ripped paper?
Take that!
We found this while we were investigating the stage. It's got Hugh's name on it. I didn't know what the number meant at the time, but now that I'm hearing about bribes... It must mean that a bribe of 120 grand? Okay. What's more, take a look at this mark. Well, duh. That mark is on the pages. Okay, yes. Hey, you're right. Wait, but why would Professor Court have that kind of information in her planner? You don't really think the person who was taking the bribe money was... It's just a possibility at this point, but it may indeed have been Professor Court. Demo. That is impossible. She'd be the last person I'd ever suspect of accepting bribes. Like I said, it's just a possibility, but a rather good one based on this convenient evidence that was found right next to her corpse. Very convenient indeed. Certainly not fabricated. Maybe their private talk had to do with the possibility of the bribery being exposed, and what started out as a little argument soon got out of hand. It's not your fault, Junie. Anyone would have suspected Hugh if they knew what you knew. No, I don't believe that alone would have driven him to murder. There's another reason why I suspected Hugh. You've got to be kidding me. There's another reason? I saw Hugh around 7 p.m., the day before the mock trial. Oh, so she's finally ready to talk about that. When I saw him, his... You're lying! People only cough when they lie. Junie, are you alright? Just try to relax and tell me what happened.
I never wanted to see what I did. But I'll have to live with it, won't I? In that hallway, Hugh's hands... His hands were dripping with blood.
He was just practicing his archery really, really hard. What a delightful track. His hands were dripping with blood. What? But why? What am I going to do? Deep down, I know Hugh can't be the killer. But my mind keeps telling me he is, no matter how hard I try to convince myself he isn't. Oh, what am I going to do? Hugh, he's... I can't take this anymore, Athena. So she hid the fact that she had seen Hugh, and said she went home at 6 because she wanted to avoid talking about what she saw. Junie, it must have been terrible holding all of that in. But it's going to be okay. I'll get to the bottom of this. And that's my promise from one good friend to another. I'll be defending Juniper tomorrow, if that's okay with you, Professor Means. My main concern is whether you can defeat that prosecutor. But I won't try to stop you. I will be watching from the gallery. And I shall look forward to seeing what sort of results your methods can produce. Good luck tomorrow. Now, if you would excuse me. Athena, I'm sorry, I really mean it. I wish I had trusted you from the start. You have to uncover the truth tomorrow. I know you can do it. Don't worry, we already know that the prosecution's key piece of evidence is a fake. And thanks to you, we figured out the motive, too. Let's give this our best shot, Athena. Let tomorrow be the day Juniper walks free. I wouldn't have it any other way. We should be all ready now. What could possibly go wrong this time? Still, there's this strange, uneasy feeling I can't shake. I'd better be imagining it. To continue bees. As usual, I should remember to come in here and save more often. Just in case of something, so that if I did have to, like... If the computer or the application were to crash, that I wouldn't have to redo the actual entire second day over again. Were you able to sleep last night? Huh? Oh, sleep. Sure, I slept. For a grand total of 0 hours. Oh, sleep. Sure, I slept. Times 0. Guten Morgen, you two. You look like you're ready to put on a real show. But before you do, I have a good luck gift for you. the voice print analysis came back, and the results couldn't be more clear. The voice in the mock trial video and the tape recording are one and the same. In other words, the recording's a fabrication. Be-doo-dee-doo. The lab is continuing their study of the tape. So far they've found signs of overdubbing. But it's going to take a bit longer to recover the audio that was erased. How strange. So it wasn't a fabrication that was recorded onto a blank tape. It was... there was a recording of the room, and someone took it and re-recorded Eurogorner over the thing that was really said. Thump. Who's there? Wait. Did you see who it was? No. I got a quick look, but they got away. I think they might have been Hugh. I bet he was eavesdropping. I wonder if he saw our hand. Oh, I'm sure he wasn't the only one just now. I bet Robin and Boxguard were listening in too. I will make sure they don't make a run for it. That was my final gift to you. Okay, all that's left now is to reach out to the truth. Time for a mini Chords of Steel workout. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm Daijobu. Your turn. I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm Daijobu. This is it. The big day. We have an hour, which is probably not enough time for the whole trial. We'll see how far we get. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods. The Sykes Brigade is totally psyched. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready as well. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Blackwell? Yes, well, moving right along. Yesterday's adjournment was unexpected, yet necessary. But I'll be running a tight ship here today, so no funny business from anybody. Understood? Your baldness. Robin Newman and Hugh O'Connor have recanted their confessions. But later I shall grill them at leisure to find whether I can charge them with perjury. Well, this sure complicates matters. Still, one must not overlook the facts. Now, about the school camera photo that was submitted yesterday. A pity, but that evidence is no longer relevant to this case. The art room clock runs fast. It cannot function as an accurate measure of time. As for the bungling detective who overlooked that, he is paying for his failure as we speak. Poor Detective Fulbright. I hope he returns to work with all his body parts intact. But if that's the case, then what will we... The accused is the sole person who could have moved the body from art room to stage. And I mean to prove it here this day. It's just like Detective Fulbright said. But what else does he have up his sleeve? My understanding of this heinous crime is thus. The murder took place near the center of the art room as evidenced by the blood stain. Blood was also found on some pottery next to the window over the maintenance area, which is to say that the body was carried over to that very window. From there, it was dropped down to the maintenance area below. Oh, we forgot to look inside the incinerator. You gotta look inside there. We even had an object that was incinerated. And though there was nary a scratch on to the body aside from the fatal wound, that too was per the script. A high jump mat was employed to cushion the fall. Then a ball cart was used to haul the body over to the stage. That's not very clever. It's the same exact body moving scheme as the script. Anyone could have moved the body that way. Your propensity to spew forth words before you think is not very clever either. Why, you... Moreover, the prosecution has a witness, which is most unfortunate for you. Witness, it's time for you to come forth. Well then, will the witness please state his name and occupation? Hugh O'Connor. I'm a senior at Hope's Peak Academy, and I'm studying to be a lawyer. Yesterday, I told that lawyer there that I would testify to the truth. So I intend to cooperate fully in today's trial. Happy now, Miss Sykes? What's he up to now? The court appreciates your cooperation, Mr. O'Connor. Now, your testimony, please. The lecture hall was packed before the mock trial, but the rest of the campus was empty. That's when I saw Juniper dragging a large mat from behind the stage. I was watching her from a vantage point between the stage and the maintenance area. She was heading towards me, so I assumed she was on her way to the maintenance area. But I didn't have time to stand around and see what she did after that. The real truth hurts so much, doesn't it, Miss Sykes? Or maybe you thought I was going to bring up something else entirely again. Or maybe you thought I was going to bring up something else entirely against your client. Ugh! Never a snappy comeback when I need one. He's coming straight at us today, using any means possible. To protect the students who had to climb up high when setting the stage, a mat was brought over to the stage from the storehouse. Our client is the student council president. What's wrong with her taking upon herself to put the mat away after they'd used it? Oh, there is plenty wrong. There is but one mat in the entire school that could cushion a fall from such lofty heights. Ergo, the mat in question was indispensable to moving the body. Arg! It sucks being the last to know everything. I think I get it now. The drag marks we saw behind the stage were made by the mat. If the only mat of that thickness was where the body is assumed to have been dropped, it would be hard to deny a possible link to this case. We're off to a bad start again. You sure you're okay, Athena? It's game on, Hugh. Game on. I'm gonna turn your arrogant perfect score grin into a teary-eyed frown of failure.
Hold it!
It was adorable. Hold it, hold it, hold it right there. What? I was just getting to the important part. Eager to unsheath your blade, Sykes Dunno? Your heavy breath heaves to where I stand.
Objection!
How rude. A human's breath doesn't travel anywhere near that far. So the only issue is distance? You're not denying that you're a heavy breather? Arg! I'm just saying that scientific studies have proven that it's not... Hang in there, Athena. No matter how many insults they hurl, it won't affect the judge's opinion of you. What about my own self-esteem? Let's get back to what happened before the mock trial. What even was the thing that I pressed on? That the lecture hall was packed, but the rest of the campus was empty. Okay.
Hold it!
Our client was simply putting the mat away. It had nothing to do with this case. That is where you are wrong. There is but one mat in the entire school that could cushion a 3-story fall. They spelled story wrong. They put an E in it. Hence, the mat dragged by the accused was essential to moving the body. Ugh! If we win this one, promised to donate another thick mat to the Academy. Now, show me how to show you the truth. You have my full cooperation. So do we think... Keep pressing. Mr. O'Connor, are you positive you were standing exactly where you said? I was between the stage and maintenance area, and she was behind the backdrop. Oh, there's a fence there, you doof. He's sticking to his guns. See, she said, we've been over this. I pressed, and she said, really? Are you sure about what you just said? Oh, and before you ask, I had my glasses on. Therefore, I'm positive it was Juniper. That is not an issue. Watching from a vantage point, indeed. So I guess we could show it's either that or it's... We don't actually have a map of the outside, do we? I guess it's just gonna be this. Objection! Objection. So, you saw the back of the stage from between the stage and maintenance area? Well, let's take a look at this photo taken by Ms. Snake, shall we? This photo shows the students setting up the stage the day before the mock trial. Do you see the big construction screen to the right of the stage in the background here? Why, yes. In fact, there were a bunch of those next to my house until a few days ago. It was so noisy behind them, but I couldn't take a peek. Oh, how it piqued my interest. Exactly, Your Honor. You cannot see past such screens. That is their purpose. Even though I think we just made them up for this case. Now, let's see. How exactly is that screen positioned again? Aha. Since it was to the right of the stage, it should be right here. And from this vantage point, the witness claims to have seen our client behind the stage backdrop. Oh my, but the screen would have been completely in the way. That's right. Therefore, the witness couldn't possibly have seen our client from this point. Youch. We're doing it. Order, order. Mr. O'Connor, have you been lying to this court? The screen. Right. It must have slipped my mind. What? Are you telling me you, Mr. Genius, forgot something as literally big as that? There are two kinds of memory lapses. The normal kind you mouth breathers have, and the genius level lapses of memory that people like me have. Anyone who watches He10 Styles' stream knows this. Why don't you just admit that it was a normal everyday brain fart already? Will the witness now please restate what he remembers, minus the lapses of memory? That's easy. I was on the other side of the screen. In other words, I witnessed Juniper from the stage side of the screen. You are testifying that our client was behind the stage. But need I remind the court, the back of the stage is not visible from the front. To actually see our client behind the stage from the stage side of the screen, the witness himself would also have to be in the same area behind the stage. But in that case, our client would have definitely seen Mr. O'Connor. Youch. Alright, so he's doing a terrible job so far. Nice one, Athena. Keep it up. Alright, golden boy. Is this not your chance? Telling the truth will be like a weight lifted from your chest. The truth? What truth? The fact that Golden Boy here was where he initially stated. That is to say, he was between the maintenance area and the stage. But then the screen would have blocked his view of... On the ground, yes, his view would have been blocked indeed. But consider how smoke always wants to rise up high. Athena, look at the photo again. Do you think... Okay, something on the other side of the screen. Something high enough to see the stage. No way, this crane right here? But I don't remember seeing a crane there the day of the mock trial. Me neither, but it's probably safe to assume it was moved before you found the body. That's far enough, Prosecutor Blackwell. Remember, you promised. I recall making no such promise. It was you who came blubbering to me about keeping quiet in exchange for information. Arg! What's all this about a promise? Is this about whatever Blackwell is using against him? And what's it got to do with going into the crane? Golden Boy did not go up in that crane for fun. He was working part-time as a crane operator within the school grounds. What? Do you mean to tell me a high school student was operating a crane? The witness... I mean, I object to the prosecutor's last statement. There's no proof I ever operated that crane. Not even a picture of me in the driver's seat. Actually, there just might be something that proves you did. What? If this whole part-time job thing is true, I doubt it would be limited to a single day. You were probably working at the same site the previous day, too. Is this what you're thinking of, Thena? Yep. As the court can see, this photo captured the crane's operator. And if you look carefully, he bears a definite resemblance to Mr. O'Connor. Are you serious? This is ridiculous. How very interesting. Let's ascertain whether this is as ridiculous as the witness maintains. The defense agrees with the prosecution. Let's bring the facts to light. That's all very well and good, but just how do you propose to do that? The person in this photo has one really distinguishing feature. I'm not 100% sure, but it's at least worth a try. We can clearly identify... Does he wear a thing around his neck? He doesn't appear to. It's gotta be neck, because they have a conspicuous thing around his neck, but I don't know what that... The figure in this photo is wearing a very unique object around his neck. Why, yes, you can see it right there, but then are you saying you mean to... Mr. O'Connor's neck is almost entirely concealed by his tall collar. But that's exactly why I believe this warrants further examination. No, not a chance. That would be a blatant violation of my privacy. You are a disgrace of a man. Now start unbuttoning that collar before I hack it off. Yeah, what's the big deal? Now, let's see your neck. Guess I have no choice. Oh my. So, where did you buy that neckband, if I might ask? I didn't buy it. It's handmade, and there's only one like it in the world. Well, it sure looks like the neckband in the photo. Should we have the photo analyzed? You are one irritating lady. Fine, I admit it. I work a part-time construction job. It has nothing to do with our school. Operating heavy equipment's no big deal for a guy who can parallel park one-handed. But I never expected one of my jobs would take me to my own school. But when you factor in all of the required tests and apprenticeship... What? What? But when you factor in all the required tests and apprenticeship period, wouldn't you have to be at least 20 to have a license for operating a crane? Oh, about that, you see, I'm a genius, so you know.
Objection!
Let us dispense with this inane charade, Golden Boy. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't. High school seniors are 19 at most. Thus, they fail to complete the requirements. But that does not apply to you, does it, Mr. O'Connor? Yeah, you have to be 20 to be a prosecutor. With all the apprentice, it's impossible that someone under the age of 20 could operate a crane. Now, being a prosecutor at 13, totally okay. Why doesn't it apply? He's a senior, so he's around that age, right? No, don't. Please. Actually, Golden Boy here is 25. He took a 7-year break from school. Wait, come again? Take a gander at the official school enrollment documentation. 'Tis all right there. Ouch. 25? You mean he's older than me? A 25-year-old high school student? Rabble, 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 rabble. Rabble, 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 murmur, murmur, murmur. A 7-year break. 7 years. None in my... I've just one thing to say. There are two kinds of 7-year breaks. The ordinary kind you mouth breathers take. And the genius kind people like me take. But a genius would quickly become a chore for... What? But a genius would quickly become a chore for a 7-year break. For a genius, a 7-year break would become a chore? Whatever. Even geniuses make mistakes. I just happened to make mine only 7 years in a row. Only Hugh could get away with using only like that. Enough of this jibber-jabber. Suffice to say the witness was up in the crane when he saw the accused dragging the mat. The accused readied all she needed to move the body immediately prior to doing so. That much is clear. I see no need to deliberate the matter further. Considering that the body was moved in the same manner as the script, I find Prosecutor Blackwell's claim to be quite persuasive. Does the defense care to dissuade me? Ugh! As long as a mat was used to move the body, Junie's going to be under suspicion. Athena, I just thought of the most obvious thing. They used a ropeway. What was Hugh doing in the crane right before the mock trial? He couldn't have been on the job at the time. I mean, he was waiting for the trial to start. Yeah, why was he in the crane? Wait, you don't think... Your Honor. Yes, Miss Sykes? I've got it. I've got an amazing idea that will turn the prosecution's claim on its head. A little conjecture has never stopped us before. Interesting. Mr. O'Connor, you were using the crane to... What the hell could this be? When she goes, a little conjecture never hurt anyone. So she's like, I'll just take a logical leap to something that doesn't make any sense. Here are 3 choices. Guess which leap I made. What in the hell does she think he was using the crane for? I guess we could say move the body? Like, we're going to... I mean, we're pretty sure he didn't do it. He might be an accomplice. If Professor Means did it, and then he's the accomplice, so he helped. Seems unlikely, though. Move the screen? I don't know what that would accomplish. Like, at the point in time that they're saying that he did. I don't have enough yeah. I don't know yet what the overall picture is. I'm gonna say move the body because I guess that's what makes sense. Unless it's move your... Like, he was gonna put the crane somewhere so that he could go sneak into the window. Oh. Is that it? Mr. O'Connor, you were using the crane to commute to school. Screw you, lady. That would be a feat, considering we aren't even allowed to commute by bicycle. How is... Well, I guess maybe there's nowhere to park it. Who knows? Maybe they made a special exception just for you. Oh my, would they really do such a thing? Probably not. I thought it was going to be like he moved the crane so that he could sneak up into the window, so that he could steal something, plant something, get to the teacher and argue with her, whatever. Oh, that's too bad. And too bad for you too, as I must give you a penalty. No exceptions. Yikes! But commuting by crane sounds kind of fun. Okay. You were using a crane to move the body. The body was just like it was in the script, so it must have been moved like in the script too. At least that's what the prosecution believes. How simplistic, even foolish. Of course this is wrong. Of course, always the third try. Those are pretty strong words, Athena. You sure about this? The witness is a licensed crane operator, so he could have used it to move the body. Oh, maybe this is right.
Objection!
Well, Golden Boy, care to chime in? I intend to say no more on the matter. Say that this does not bode well for you. Wait, he's on my side this time? Or is this another trap? Watch this. I can use a bow and arrow one-handed. Wow, that's a crazy level of dexterity. I can even drive a crane with one hand. That's easy. But operating the crane itself is so complex it requires both hands. Now, I would have the court look at this. Oh. Please tell me that's a ketchup stain. You wish. My hand was injured and required surgery. That's the... Hold on. If it required surgery, like a doctor did this, and not like you just wrapped your hand up in gauze yourself, why is there blood coming through? Doesn't that get fixed when you get surgery? Don't they put enough there that you don't just start gushing blood all the way to the surface of the thing? Whatever. Ack. That's the reason I kept my hand in my pocket all this time. I have already verified this with the hospital of treatment. Quite a nasty wound, they say. So, how did you hurt it? I see no need to discuss that. It has no relevance to this case. 2 hands are required to operate complex machinery, such as a crane. Ergo, on the day of the mock trial, the witness was incapable of moving the body by crane. Now I'm the fool. I'd planned on moving the crane the night before the mock trial, but then I got injured. Wanting to keep my part-time job a secret, I had to do it just before the mock trial instead. Arg, and here I thought this was the big break we've been waiting for. Now that the defense's sophistry is laid bare, I would have the court recall my claim. The body was dropped out of a 3rd-floor window to a mat near the maintenance area. Then a ball cart was used to move it to the stage. See? I've been paying attention. Well done, your baldness. Now, consider this. The accused was sighted dragging that mat. Ergo, it was she who moved the body. Well, I think you were on the right track, Athena. You do? Yeah, Juniper remains the prime suspect if we assume the body was moved per her script. So as the defense, you have to figure out how else the body could have been moved. But... oh, is he telling me to think of another way besides the crane? Miss Sykes, if you have a counter-argument, this court would love to hear it. And if you do not, it is time for the verdict. Isn't that correct, your baldness?
Objection!
No, not yet. All I have to do is show that the body wasn't moved like it was in the script, right? Well, that would show that the mat had nothing to do with this case. There is a sword of great renown that cuts down sophistic lawyers. Its name is evidence. You don't scare me. Force a smile, Athena. You can do it. What's wrong with your face? What's wrong with your face? It's a weird mix of terror and creepy grin. Just focus on how the body could have been moved without it being dropped. How could anyone lower it without just dropping it? It's not like it could fly. Or maybe it could. After all, there is a way to zip between the art room and the stage. I feel offended that they don't think that I put this together and they had to flash a picture of the rope. Someone could have easily used that thing. Oh yes, of course. Miss Sykes, the court would like to see what you have for us. All I have to do is show the tiniest shred of a possibility. The mat and the ball cart weren't used to move the body. This is what was used. We don't have a picture of the rope itself, but we have this.
Take that!
The key here is the thing that ties the art room and the stage together. Might I propose an idea? It might do you well to tie your lips together, lest you further expose your ignorance. This isn't exactly the time for black comedy, Professor Blackwell. Anyway, the court will recall the wire on which the school banner was hung. I was confused for a moment, like, that even though the music stopped, that I had the wrong answer. That wire was strung between the art room and the stage, which allowed students to run or reel the school banner from the art room. The body could have easily been lowered down to that stage via this wire.
Objection!
Spare me your armchair theories. This wasn't some kind of high wire act. The body surely would have fallen. Yet there are no signs of blunt force trauma.
Objection!
Oh, you surprised me, Prosecutor Blackwell. You didn't actually think I failed to account for that. I'm sure that's exactly what he thought. When we investigated the stage yesterday, the bottom part of the school banner had been tied into a pouch-like shape. And pouches are useful for carrying things. What do you think this one could have carried? Well, go on. Please explain. The body was bundled into the pouch-like section of the banner and sent down the wire. The body would have been down on that stage in a flash, and there'd be no need for a mat. I've heard the phrase carrying the banner, but the banner doing the carrying?
Objection!
I have no patience for you and your cheap parlor tricks. Your claim is as shaky as a corpse performing that absurd high wire act. If you have an actual objection, then just come out and say it. I trust you recall the bloodstains left on the art room pottery. If the wire had been used to move the body, it would be via the window above the quad, the one with the winch. However, the blood-stained pottery was next to the window above the maintenance area. Ergo, the wire and banner had not at all to do with this case. Oh, haha. The blood-stained pottery, I remember that. This doesn't look good. We'll be back to the mat theory if you don't do something. Well, Miss Sykes, I hope you have something better this time than a circus act. Could be that she was stabbed and the blood just flew over there. Or could be that the person knew the script, so they planted the blood on the pottery to add credence to the idea that the body was taken to that window to be dropped onto a mat. Go! If my wire theory is true, then that blood on the pottery must not have been... Oh... We could say it was someone else's blood. Maybe it's not the victim's blood. Did the police check to see from whom the blood on the pottery came from? Shame on you, Sykes, to know. Have a little more respect for the constabulary. Fool Bright. Looks like they didn't check it. Don't let it get you down, Professor Blackwell. Everyone makes mistakes. Spare me your cheek. We will not know either way until the tests are run. True, but in the meantime, I'm going to press my claim as far as I can. Your boldness, I demand that the blood on the pottery be analyzed this instant. Of course. It shouldn't take long to get the results back. I know this because I'm a judge. We'll just all quietly sit here. Oh my, that was quick. We're history if it turns out to be the victim's blood, even though we're not, because there are still perfectly valid explanations. Please, please let it be someone else's. It seems the blood was not from the victim. What? Furthermore, a comparison with other parties involved with this case reveals that the blood belongs to one Hugh O'Connor. Score? Don't worry, June. Just try to relax. Hugh's hands, his hands were dripping with blood. Your Honor, as we saw earlier, the witness's left hand had suffered a serious injury. He sustained the wound in a struggle with the victim, and his blood got on the pottery. Then Junie saw his blood-stained hands as they passed each other in the first floor hall. It's the only explanation that covers everything.
Objection!
There is but one way now to turn aside her blade, but do not cast the blame on me. Your grudge is with Sykes, Dono, for it is she who forces me to expose your secret. Fine, whatever. Wow, how much dirt does he have on Hugh? The court will observe this odd-looking envelope. It was inside this that Snake Plissken's script was found. Miss Plisken's? But didn't the prosecution already claim that this envelope is the one that contained her script? Circumstances have changed. You see, Golden Boy had hidden this from us all. Let's see here. My word. Talk about the world's most painful paper cut. Is this a, like, a booby trap? You can clearly see that if this envelope is not opened correctly, a powerful spring-loaded blade will shoot forth, leaving a horrible gash upon the hand. The only one who had been told of the correct way to open it was Constance Court. You really want to see my script that bad? Well, you better watch out. Read it without my permission, and you'll wish you hadn't. Yikes. Snake wasn't kidding when she said that. The blood on the blade is the witnesses. Our genius here tried to sneak a peek at the wrong script and paid for his foolishness. Ouch! This guy's the worst genius I've ever seen. Yes, that does seem illegal, but that's okay. We're only in court. All she has to say is, "Where's your decisive evidence?" That's all you have to say if you want to get off the hook. Just keep saying it. Put it on repeat. Don't come into court at all and just have a a tape recorder that you set on the witness stand, push play, drop the mic, and walk out. Don't worry, Athena, the wound isn't that deep. We've still got the wire theory. Yeah, I've got it. Since the blood by the window overlooking the maintenance area isn't the victim's, there's no longer any basis for denying the body was moved using the wire and banner. Therefore, the defense once again asserts just that. You call yourself a lawyer? Ha! Don't you see the glaring contradiction in your thinking? Huh? The court would like to remind the witness that his role is not to point at... Witnesses can say whatever they want. So can the prosecutor, so can the defense, so can people in the gallery, so can people miles away, can just barge into the courtroom, kick down the door. And you, how can you adhere to such outdated beliefs? But whatever. It seems you've forgotten the two statues that were on stage directly below the wire. A body sent sliding down that wire would have crashed into them. Care to explain that away? Yeah, they were destroyed. I believe he's right. The statues and the wire are extremely close together. Ugh. So the body would have collided with the statues? What if they did collide? Wait, that's it. Speaking of those statues, we still don't know how they were broken. But if we assume the body crashed into them, that would also explain the loud sound we heard while we were in the waiting room. Oh, now that you mention it. You and Mr. Wright went out to the stage after you heard that sound, correct?
Objection!
Interesting. How very interesting. But may I ask just one question? When was it that you heard said sound? It was a little after the mock trial had started. Mr. Wright and I were practically bored to tears there in the waiting room when... Ah! Precisely. If that sound you heard did happen while the body was being moved, that would place it during the mock trial. Oof! Which means the body wouldn't have been there before the mock trial started. You see, right before the mock trial started, I saw the body. He said he saw the body before the mock trial. If so, then my claim that the body was moved during the mock trial doesn't hold water. Stupid contradiction. It's going to get me and our case killed. The focus was on just 3 suspects because the body was moved before the mock trial. That has been the major promise thus far. Your assertion, therefore, contradicts the very foundation of this case.
Objection!
Both sides still lack incontrovertible evidence. So should we not also treat Golden Boy's testimony with some level of suspicion? Good point. Ack. Prosecutor Blackwell is on our side. I bet he's figured out the truth. Oh, I bet he's figured out the truth behind this case. well, great, as long as he's not up to something else. If the statues really were broken when the body hit them, then Hugh's statement about seeing the body before the mock trial is a big fat lie. Okay, Mr. O'Connor, let's get to the bottom of this contradiction about when you saw the body. Look me straight in the eyes and repeat your statement to me. Arg, like I said before, before the mock trial, the body was, you know, shifty eye, shifty eye. I shall say this only once, Golden Boy. You had best tell the truth, and do it now. That is, if your head wishes to enjoy continued companionship of your body. Yikes! Now, out with it. Did you truly witness the body? Or were you just lying about it? Well, which is it? You what? I never saw the body. Are you sure about that? Lie to this court again, and I'll charge you with perjury. There was no body on that stage. I've been lying about that this whole time. I'm sorry. Yes, we've exposed Hugh's big lie for what it is. Stop. But why would he lie about this to begin with? Order. The base premise that the body was moved before the mock trial has been overturned. I imagine this has an impact on both the defense and prosecution's case. Well, first I'd like to thank the prosecutor. This brings us one step closer to the truth. Now at least we know the body was moved using the wire and school banner. Indeed, that much I shall concede, Sykes-Dunham. The body was moved as you stated, and in the midst of the mock trial. So both sides are satisfied, then. If the body was moved before the mock trial, we have our 3 suspects. But if the move took place in the midst of the mock trial, it is an entirely different story. Right, all 3 suspects were in the mock trial. That gives them some solid alibis. How simplistic. Did you forget about the student in charge of the audio? Amidst the mock trial, she was the one soul who could leave and re-enter the lecture hall. What's this? Who is the person in charge of the audio? Oh no. How could I forget? It was... Hey, what's the deal here? Why is Junie so large in this shot? Juniper was also in charge of the audio. When she wasn't in the trial, she was in the audio control room dealing with the music. Indeed. The one who could enter the art room amidst the mock trial to move the body was none other than the accused, Juniper Woods, for she was in charge of the audio. No! Why, yes, I see. That does make perfect sense. This can't be happening. Instead of exposing Hugh's crime, Junie's in even deeper. No matter how you slice it, we're cooked. And here I thought Prosecutor Blackwell was on our side, at least in this issue. And I think we're not quite at 9 o'clock, but I think I'm going to wrap up here. Yeah, why don't we save it and call it a day? Alright, so next time we will easily finish up the court case and then start the next chapter. That's going to be Tuesday. Tune in tomorrow for Baba Is You, and no stream on Saturday. Sunday will be Mentor Roulettes in Final Fantasy XIV.